I will do a quick screening for the biomechanical function of the foot. I do this for anybody, as I talked about when we did the gates. We'll go up, right, open your tippy toes, and down. Can you go up even higher? So you can see he wants to go out laterally, and obviously he rests in pronation and down. And then keeping your heels on the ground. Let's see what happens when you squat down. Can you go down further? One more time. So this is good to see because anybody can see his foot is a shape that's not your normal shape, right? But I don't necessarily care. The reason why I'm trying to link for you excessive internal torque or excessive or lack of shock absorption is because we mostly care about the foot because of what it does to the rest of your leg. If a foot is funky, but the leg functions normally, I'm not necessarily impressed. I've seen people with crazy feet that don't need any work if everything else is functioning normally. So what's your name? Jeff. So if you watch Jeff and he goes up, go up and watch him place for a second. You can't see, but you really should move to the side because it's kind of interesting. And relax. All right, go up on your tippy toes. All the way up as high as you can go. I mean, really, he's going straight forward, don't you think? And down. Again. He's going straight forward. Yeah, a little weak. Okay. But he's going straight forward. And then when you squat down, go ahead. No, keep your feet where they were. It's cool. Are his knees going in together? No. He's basically functioning pretty normal. Go ahead. I mean, really, he's doing okay. Like his knee, his hip, it's not a big deal. So all his feet are crazy. The rest of him is great. You know, like you take this. I imagine so. And did you hear what he just said? I've been told worse. If you walk into a podiatrist's office and you show them with this foot, right away they say, well, we have to make you a foot orthoticist because you have all these blah, 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 blah.
He said I needed surgery.
Right. This is what I'm saying. Somebody has already said this, but I'm a physical therapist. I care about movement and function. If the function is normal and the movement is normal, do I care what you look like? I'm willing to accept all manner of different people who look all manner of different ways. You know? Okay, stop. And that's usually a positive thing for someone like this to hear, because do you want to have surgery?
No.
Of course not. Who wants to have surgery and for what? So it could look different? I don't know.
Can I just make mention that if someone does come into your clinic with orthotics, maybe someone made him orthotics, watch them squat with them and without them. Does the orthotic make them worse? They can.
Do you see something?
Because it's all about function, like, you know, squatting or taking a step. So if in the orthotic they look worse, then it's doing nothing.
Okay, so here we are. We get him in the figure of four, so hopefully we get the foot going more or less straight down, which is close. We're not up at the top here. We're at the distal third, where you can palpate the sides of both bones. I push with the side of my finger, center with my thumb, and then I can draw a mark that's going to bisect the lower leg. All right. If it's right split across the Achilles, you did it wrong, and try to do it all over again. All right. So that's step number one. Step number two is we're going to bisect the calcaneus and do the same thing. You can line up with the thumb. If you're on the very top of the calcaneus, how do you know you got the side? You have to go on the tuber of the calcaneus to make sure you're set. So come here, and you know, two points make a line. So I'd like to put it on the top and the bottom of the calcaneus because, of course, it's not a square, rectangle. It's a trapezoid or whatever. The joint line of your subtalar joint is through at the level of the fibular head, so that's where your axis is. All right, good. Ooh, do you mind if I draw on you?
No.
Sorry about that. The ink should come off in a week or two. Okay. So then you want to find subtalar joint neutral, which I presume you've done before in some other class. So you palpate on the fourth and fifth toes, because they are not of equal length, and that way you can push up and lock it in. If you're only on the fifth, or if your thumb is horizontal, then you got it wrong, and it's obvious from across the room, all right? Because you will miss the head of the fourth. So there we go. And then you can palpate the subtail joint by feeling the talus. If you follow the third metatarsal all the way up, you should get on the lateral border of the talus. Now on the medial side, you can follow the first metatarsal past the medial taper and feel the talus. If you can touch the medial malleoli with your thumb, you are too proximal. And you screwed it up, try over. All right? Then I go back and forth, so when you move in, it should pop out, you move out, it should pop in, and you reach that place where it is most bony congruent, so you can feel it evenly on both sides, and that is where subtail joint neutral is. And you hold that position with a tiny bit of dorsiflexion, which of course he is lacking. And now we're ready to measure. All right. One horizontal line, this line, long line, will be even with the first and the fifth metatarsals. This is the forefoot. Did I skip this?
Yes.
Sorry. Rear foot relationship with the tibia fifth to the calcaneus is first. You'll line up one line with the tibia, your axis at the distal lateral malleoli, the other line even with the bisection of the calcaneus. You look at that number, you get some number, and that's what you write down. If you do this and you end up with a valgus number, you probably screwed it up. And so start over again. It does occur, but usually not in normal people, so try it again. All right, once you've done that, then we're going to do the forefoot to the rear foot relationship. Forefoot to rear foot. So one line will be parallel to the first and fifth, like so. And then I have to look down like this and see when does this line here go perpendicular to one of these little hash marks. The little hash marks on this line. So I hold it, I measure it, and it's going to be some very large number. Like, should be a very large number. All right. That's the rear foot, the forefoot measurement. I neglected to do this at the other group, but we'll pick it up for this afternoon. Before I forget. So while you're holding second, third, fourth, and fifth, grab the first metatarsal and see. And they should all line up like this. Of course, the first is a little bit bigger, so it might be like that. But you know, it's more or less. Some people say it should be like that. Whatever. It's pretty close. And then, so that's your position. If you line up the fingers and it's like this, that would be plantarflex. Like in this position, if this big toe was way down here, that would be a plantarflex position. And the opposite would be a dorsiflex. So that's the position, and then you check its mobility. Let's see, can I move it down a finger's breadth? Can I move it up a finger's breadth? That would be normal. All of this is on the handout that's on Blackboard, and this is exactly what we will do on the day of the practical. Except you have to do it fast, and then we will check your results. All right? All right, next, stand up. Can you just sit on the end of that table there? Stand up on the table, please. We'll have footstools for you another day, but walk over here, turn around. I promise I won't let you walk off. Come back a little ways. You're good. All right, then just with this leg back a little further, one little more step. This would not be ideal. Your feet should be even, and you'd be on a footstool, but stand, please. A lot of times when you do that, the soft tissues move, so you might have to remark for a closed chain measurement. And then you check your assessment again, and you get some measurement. This is a valgus position, whereas the other one was a varus position. Okay. And often. And you write that down, and then we will figure out what to do with those numbers later on in this class. All right, but we've got to get the numbers as good as we can so that we can figure out how to prescribe for the orthotic as best we can. Okay? Go to it. You got 10 minutes per person.